everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody, and I am here with the layout for you using my Gossamer Blue September 2016 Life Pages kit. The very first thing I'm doing, jumping right into this, is pulling out a 12 by 12 paper from a paper pad that I had. I am doing a 12 by 12 layout today using this kit. Now, the reason I primarily picked out this kit is because there were some school-themed things in here, and I thought it would be perfect to use for these photos because these photos are from Calen's first day of kindergarten. I had to think about what year this was. Kindergarten. And the very first thing that kind of drew my attention was, well, there's two things. There is this notepad paper. Then the second thing was this card that had this stack of books on it. Then I pulled out that like memo pad kind of paper, and then also this card that had the pencils and pens almost sketched on there. So I'm going to cut a couple of those out, just fussy cut a couple of those, and use them as embellishments on this layout. The cards were really kind of the thing that drew me to this kit when I was kind of figuring out which kit I wanted to use and what photos I wanted to use. Funny enough, so generally whenever I'm starting to do a layout, I either am inspired by the photos or I'm inspired by the kit that I'm working with. And oddly enough, I was actually thinking about doing a layout this evening, and instead I decided to go ahead and do my voiceover for this video and get this posted for you guys. But I kind of don't know where to go at the moment because I don't really have a kit that I'm particularly working with at this exact moment. I'm waiting on one in the mail, and I don't really have any photos that are like laying on my desk to be scrapped. Now I have tons of photos printed and already planned out, and I just haven't pulled them out. But it's kind of funny because I'm like, well, what do? I don't know. Usually I have like already have a next layout planned or kind of ready to go, and I don't have one at this exact moment. So I'm hoping I'm not like in a slump or anything like that, but it's just like I didn't know where to go. So I thought maybe by doing a voiceover and kind of looking at a previous layout I have will kind of spark some interest into something. So as you can see, I had absolutely no problem getting this layout going. It's actually a fairly quick one because it seemed to just fall into place. So I cut out those pencils, and then I cut out the little books, and I'm doing a little bit of stamping, and I had stamped it back to school, but I really don't like the way that it looks right there. So I'm actually going to do something that some people don't like to do, and that's kind of like to break up a stamp. So I'm going to leave it there for just a moment, but I'm going to end up changing that. I have my little memo pad that I had as like a composition notebook. I had cut out the little label, and I'm going to use these LE Studio Alphas. They're the letters and numbers in teal. And I will always try to link below any of the supplies that I use that are still available. Now, since I do use my stash when I scrapbook, some of the things that I use are not available any longer. Like this kit is no longer available. Actually, Gossamer Blue is not even making kits anymore. But anything that is available, I will link below for you so you can purchase it if you're interested in using it as well. So I did kind of staple on that wood veneer. I also did some stapling on my little like label there, which really is going to serve as my title, just to kind of bring in that same stapling effect on a different part of the layout. And I am using the little glassine bag that came in the kit. It was holding the cards to layer behind my photo. There was also this cool little, I think it's crepe paper. Oh, I can't think about what it is right now, but it's this little embellishment bag that had some like enamel hearts. I had some with sequin stars, and then I had some bow paper clips, and I'm using some of those little enamel hearts. They're like a glittery gold to just embellish a few little bits around the layout. Now, they weren't really sticky, as you could see. They're just kind of coming off the little backing paper, so I'm using a little bit of adhesive to kind of hold those down. Now I'm going through the chipboard that came in the kit. The Gossamer Blue kits, if you are not familiar with them, the Gossamer Blue kits usually were very similar. So the style and like the phrases and the stamps would be different every month, but generally you would get a sticker sheet, you would get a chipboard sheet, you would get a pack of cards, and you would get some little embellishments. And that's kind of exactly what this was. So what I really enjoyed about those Life Pages kits is that you kind of knew everything that you were going to get. Now, like I said, the design and the feel of the kit would be totally different each month, but it was really very consistent in the amount of product you got, and this might sound weird, but like the usability of the product. So Like I said, that might sound kind of weird, but what I mean is that I always felt like you got enough supplies to make layouts with, but you also got enough supplies that kind of went well together. So I've noticed that some kits that I've used before, and I always end up loving, I don't think I've loved just about every kit that I have purchased and used for my kit review series, but some kits are a little bit harder to work with, and I always have felt like the Gossamer Blue kits were very easy to work with. So I'm doing my journaling here, and I'm actually using a navy pen, and that's just kind of pulling a little bit of the navy from the rest of the layout. So that composition notebook is actually kind of a navy and white instead of a black and white, which is usually what the composition notebooks have on them. And my little documented tab up at the top, plus that heart and that dream big on the middle left, are all in that navy color. So it really kind of ties into this pen. For whatever reason, my head is very much in this in this video as I'm kind of writing and getting things glued down and all of that. So just ignore the fact that my head's sticking out there. And this is where I decided to go ahead and cover up that stamping. And I am going to do a little bit of stamping in just a few, well, really just this place. But this is where I'm going to actually just stamp part of it, and I had cut it apart. And some people hate that, but I would rather cut a stamp apart and use it than not be able to use the way that it's set up. So I have no problem doing that. So I just took a label from the sticker sheet and stamped it, and it says back to school, and it looks like it was written on a like on a notebook paper. And so I felt like that worked really well right there. I'm also going to be doing a little bit more stamping. I took the little what do you call that, apple, like cut of an apple. It looks like an apple with a heart cut out of the middle of it, and stamped it twice. And also I'm just kind of fussy cutting that out and putting that on two places. One is going to be on the stack of books, and then the other one is going to be right there beside my label. It also really looks like those pencils that I cut out. It looks like those are actually stamped as well, even though they're not. Oh, and then there's a third apple I forgot over by the first day label right there. This layout seems very simple, but it really, really was fun to work with and really came together fairly quickly. There's not a whole lot of like extra layers and things like that, which kind of keeps it a little bit more on the simple side, but I did a lot of like cutting cards and stamping and, you know, a couple things like that, which I think really kind of makes the layout come together. So this is really kind of the end of this layout, just kind of tidying up the back of my paper there and kind of just checking to make sure that everything's done. But I am pretty much done with this layout. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever, and then always look in the description box below for any links to other products that I used in addition to the kit that I'm actually using. Thank you so much, and I'll chat with y'all later. Bye!